Hello everybody and welcome to NBL Overtime, and it seems like I say this each and every week, but what a huge week it has been off court as we head towards NBL 20. I'm Cameron Luke. You can get involved anytime you like. Hashtag NBL Overtime, hashtag NBL 20, hashtag do better, and a man who's just got it off the canvas literally in the last 15 minutes to join what is going to be a huge show. Of course, dominated by the Illawarra Hawks and LaMelo Ball signing. Is this, man? Nice shirt. I see you.
Thank you, man.
Sparring this morning. Insta stories full of you in gloves, man. Welcome back.
Thanks, man. Glad to be back. I'm just excited to be here. You know, first of all, let me help you introduce Liam Santa. I know that's your job, but, you know, this is Liam Santa Maria.
Just so we're aware, firstly, you and I, this is what's happened for the last 35 episodes we've done. I intro you, we have a quick little chat, then I intro...
I'm just excited, my bad, I'm excited.
I can see this.
I got a lot of papers, I got the notes, I don't ever come like this.
Well, what do you call this, Liam? I actually call this a year of research for Corey Homicide Williams, and he's brought it in for 1 day.
Good looking out, Corey.
Liam said it.
Oh, my God.
Thank you, man. Thanks. And yeah, it is exciting. There is just no rest in this NBL off-season, and it ratcheted up another level today, and there's a lot to get through.
It did. Look, the LaMelo Ball rumour and the talk, the innuendo's been around for a little while. It reached fever pitch a couple of weeks ago when it was linked via social media, and the fact I think you liked a tweet to the New Zealand Breakers. That didn't turn out to be LaMelo Ball, but the word continues to... well, be around, and in the last 24 hours, the Illawarra Hawks have announced, and LaMelo Ball as well, on ESPN's The Jump, which we'll get to, how these young men are announcing that they're coming to the NBL. But LaMelo Ball will be here in the NBL playing for the Illawarra Hawks. Your initial thoughts once it become official?
I mean, this is incredible. You have to understand the magnitude of this for the league. You know, the guys in the background that's working, you know, Jeremy LaLiga, Larry Kesselman getting this done. This is monumental. I don't think we've ever had a young player. This is a millennial, all right? Him and RJ both, okay? These are some of the most, if not the most, famous young players for their age in the world. And they're both coming to play in the NBL. This is monumental for the league. Look at that. 4.5 million followers. That may be more combined in our league, period.
Yeah.
One guy's bringing, and he's coming to Illawarra. It's fantastic. I mean, when you really think about it, all right, let's break this down. 6'7", he can shoot. He has obviously a great height, basketball IQ. His skill level is advanced. He has everything you actually would want for this Next Stars program for him to be implemented into the NBL.
Yeah, it's super exciting, and you know, just the ability to close this deal. I mean, he and RJ Hampton, Brian Bowen before him, they are exactly the guy Next Stars was put in place to try and bring over and give them the opportunity and let our league grow as a result. And the fact that those guys have all signed on, it's working, it's going so well, and he's seen the ability to come to the Illawarra Hawks, this league as a whole, that team, what they've put together as the right step for him as he progresses towards the NBA. It's a huge tick, and it just speaks to the strength of the program, the league, and the fact that all the arrows are pointed up.
We might start with the 4.5 million Instagram followers that we just seen in the package and what you just mentioned. The very fact that Hampton made this announcement on Get Up, ESPN's flagship morning TV show in the States. Then it was The Jump, which is, of course, a show hosted by Rachel Nichols that is held daily. You can't, it doesn't matter how much money you pump into a league or how many times you tell certain people how great the league is. When it has been done on platforms such as this and Instagram and the millennials and the social media world in which we live in, and you spoke about, this is unbelievable. Not only just signing it and putting out hey, I'm going to go play in Australia, they are going on high-profile radio and TV shows and saying, I'm going to take my talents, pet the phrasing here, to Australia in different ways. And that just is stuff you just can't buy. It doesn't matter how much money you want to throw in marketing-wise, you cannot buy that type of exposure.
100%, especially when it's coming out of the mouth of these two individuals. More important. The NCAA right now is extremely upset. Well, I don't even understand.
I'll tell you what's going to happen. One and done was going to be gone anyway. They're going to change the rules in the next couple. This is, now it may not be the only reason, but this and the fact that these high-profile players are going to play professionally overseas rather than go and spend that 1 year at college will ultimately, sooner rather than later, end the NBA's rule that you don't have to be 18 when you enter the NBA. You can just go straight from high school into the NBA, which it used to be until around 6 years ago.
Let me tell you what's really the magnitude of this move. All right, you can have one player. RJ said it, cool, RJ comes. One and done guy. We know on some mock drafts he's as high as number 2. Cool. You can lose one guy. To get a guy like Ball that follows in the footsteps and come over here, I am telling you right now, there will for sure be meetings that's being had about what is going on in that league in Australia. Because here's the domino effect. These are two guys that, amongst their peers, they're highly touted. They're highly respected. So if you see two guys that are one-and-done players going to the NBL, first of all, they get money, all right? They get an opportunity to play at a high level professionally. It's summertime in Australia. They speak English. It's not much of a culture difference compared if you go to the Europes of the world or the Asias of the world or the South Americas. And it's a world-class league. This is I don't care what nobody says. This is one of the best leagues in the world outside of the NBA. I stand by that. So for them to come out here, what do you think their buddy's going to want to do next season? That's what I'm trying to tell you. It's literally like, man, those sneakers are cool. I think it's cool, but I don't know if I want to do it. Then somebody who you respect gets the sneaker. Then somebody else who you respect gets the sneaker. Guess what you're going to do? Get that sneaker. That's what's going to happen in the NBL.
Yeah, I mean, of course, RJ Hampton and LaMelo Ball, their situations are different, right? Hampton had the choice of his grades were on point. He had the choice of going anywhere. LaMelo was potentially and most likely ineligible, right, to play in the NCAA. The question is, well, why aren't they going to the G League? That's the question Adam Silver's been asking. Well, we need to sit down and have those meetings about the program we've put in place for the G League because these guys aren't choosing that. They're going to play in the NBL. So big tick. You called it a power move. You called Next Stars a power move this, maybe 9 months ago when we were talking about Brian Bowen. You said Jerry and Larry put the program in place and they're, so far so good. Well, it's gone up to a whole nother level. And I'm, the marketing element is all super exciting. I'm fascinated to see how the basketball side of things plays out because what I'm hearing is that this is a switched on kid. He's a nice kid and a switched on kid who really wants to make it as a pro. He understands that there's bells and whistles that come with being a part of his family and having 4.5 million followers and everything. But he's getting it to a point now where he's like, you know what? I'm a year away, maybe 2 years away. I need to make sure I am ready to make a career out of this. And he's made a decision to come a long, long way away from home, from what I understand to be basketball reasons.
And this is a long-term thing. You mentioned him probably being ineligible to go to the NCAA, but that also was a decision that was probably made when he did play in Lithuania and what actually happened there. So this has been a long term. He didn't exactly say the exact same words that RJ Hampton used, where he goes, I didn't grow up dreaming to be a college player. I grew up wanting to play in the NBA and be a pro. But that's the exact feeling that he has had for the last, we'll say, 2 years when he got on the radar of so many of us basketball lovers. The big thing will be, and this is what I really can't wait for. Ferguson, although same situation, although slightly different and not under the Next Stars banner.
Yeah.
Bowen, and we spoke about this, both wing players, not saying it's an easy thing to roll in and do what they did, but you're looking at Hampton and Ball, who are both, I would sit here today going to see, will both be the starting point guards for a professional team come opening night, which we'll get to a little bit later on, actually. I've put together my dream first weekend in the NBL. But they are point guards going against the Wares of the world, going against Mallow Trimble, going against seasoned professionals, Bryce Cotton, superstars with either NBA experience or high-level success here in the NBL. And that adds, for mine, the most interesting, I think, and complex intrigue around how these guys are going to go. Because, you're a point guard. Actually, we're all point guards. But you're a point guard in this league. You know how hard it is on a night-to-night basis to do this and back it up. And the league, no offence, but the league is now better than it was when you were playing it.
All right, check this out. I have two things to say regarding both of your points. Regardless of the fact if he was ineligible or not, there was other countries he could have played in.
Agreed.
You know what I mean? So because the reason why he was ineligible because of the big baller brand with the pro sneaker. You cannot be endorsed by a company, even though it's their company. That's why he was ineligible. Plus, his dad was playing by his own rules anyway. They weren't going to the NCAA. we all know the NCAA, all they do is, that's a whole nother story. That's pretty much indentured servitude. All they do is give you a scholarship and make billions of dollars off the backs of these youth, which reform will come. One day or another, reform will come. And we're closer than ever for reform to come because of what the NBL did with this Next Stars program. Now, let's get into it.
Here we go.
What's my saying?
It's not a cupcake.
This is not a cupcake league. If you think they're going to come here and dominate, you're wrong. They're going to come here and get their asses busted. That's a fact. And that's what they need. This is not a cupcake league. You got to understand. There's pros here that play. The toughest position in this league is the point guard position for me. All right, you got to run the team. You got to be able to get buckets because everybody at that point guard spot knows how to run their team and get buckets. Both of those guys are going to have to get their weight up. They're going to get drugged. They're going to have spots and showing that, brightness. They're going to have moments of greatness, let's call it, for them. But they're going to have to learn to do it consistently on a pro level, night in, night out. The NBL is literally like the West Coast Conference. You're not getting any nights off. Let's look at last season. You in 8th place. Who's there? Melo Trimble. That is no nights off. All right? You go to 1st place. Who's there? Casper Ware or Jerome Randle or the champ. Cotton, you're not getting a night off. So it's a great challenge for both of them. And this is what they signed up for. So if you did not do your research about this NBL league, I assure you, you better do some research.
Put up the Aaron Brooks Instagram post, please, out the back, because this plays into the fact of what we're about to talk about next. Because Aaron Brooks, who is most improved player in the NBA in 2009, he had a really good career. He did. Have we had it up there? Did I just miss it? Okay, there it is. All right. So he's essentially said he's coming to the Illawarra Hawks. Now there is nothing official yet; it's yet to be confirmed. And the reason I'm bringing it up now is because it plays into, Liam, as I look to you, how deep and how many players they've got at the point guard and all the 1 and 2 positions. If you look at it, of course, we know LaMelo Ball is there. Yeah. Aaron Brooks must be in some way in negotiations with the Illawarra Hawks. I don't think he just came out of nowhere and made it up. Now, obviously, Emmett Nair is there. Greeter played some really good moments last year. Sunday Deck has joined the Illawarra Hawks after leaving the Perth Wildcats in what was, from what you and I spoke about, a need to play more minutes. They have got a lot of players around that 1-2 and can slide into the 3 position if needed.
Yeah, well, I really hope this pans out and this becomes official and the documents get signed and he arrives here, because I think he'd be perfect for them. He has the same agent as LaMelo Ball.
There we go.
I think that there will be some kind of, he could act as a really good mentor for him. I could see him playing a whole bunch of minutes at the 2 in a kind of, it's only 6 foot, so it's not big, but in that kind of Bryce Cotton kind of mould. And then obviously you've got all that talent around there with Greeter and Nair and Deck. And part of the reason why this is a good fit for Ball in particular is because, you've got a whole bunch of young talent, but you don't have those established guys like a Golding or a McCarron or a Webster or these kind of guys who, really have to play minutes. Nah, roll the ball out in pre-season. They're position battles left, right and centre. Just circling back to Ball for a second, from my understanding is there are no guarantees about minutes, about starting roles, nothing. Okay. Which is part of what I like about his decision. He's saying, I look at the landscape, I see the league, I see the team, the players on the team. All right, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to learn, and I'm ready to play myself into a role. I wouldn't be surprised to see Ball and split the minutes at the point guard spot over the course of the season. Who starts? I probably think Emmett Nair at the start of the season, but I would say there will be a position battle in pre-season, and we'll take it from there. But I don't think the fact that they've got all of these youngsters who all want to play minutes, that's not a problem at all. That is a strength for them, and they've done a great job of putting it together.
It hasn't been confirmed. Aaron Brooks, though, how big would this be for LaMelo Ball to have Aaron Brooks? 6, 7, 8 years in the NBA, he's played internationally as well. Really good college career. How would it be? How much of not an improvement, but how big would it be for LaMelo Ball to spend a year with him?
I mean, let's just talk about Aaron Brooks' resume for a second, just so the viewers, we know what it is, but the viewers, University of Oregon, he was Mr. Basketball in the state of Washington, McDonald's All-American, college All-American, goes and plays 7, 8 years in the NBA, NBA Most Improved Player. That year, he averaged 20 and 4.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Playoffs.
And for a good Houston
For a
team.
good Houston
as well.
team. He was the guy. You know, before James Harden, the whole James Harden era. You know, so to have a guy like this, I think this is the most decorated NBA player we've ever had in Australia. Correct me if I'm wrong. Import.
Be pretty
Who
close.
would it be? Who got an award that played in the NBA and put up a numbers like that that's come to Australia to play?
20 points a game.
Nobody. Not a soul. This is another incredible feat if he signs. I know he pulled a Sean Long. Shout out to my man Sean Long. See you soon, homie. And he's ready to kill. Let me tell you, I got off the phone with a friend of mine.
Go on.
Actually, you guys would know him. Allende Ubaka. Shout out to Ubaka. Spoke to him today, and he was telling me, like, he's in kill mode. He's ready to go. He's been in the gym with him every day.
Wow.
So when it's coming from a legitimate point guard that was in this league, an ex-star point guard, co-signing this man right now, just because we haven't seen him and we don't know what he's been up to, does not mean he's not coming in there on kill mode. So hopefully he comes.
I want to circle back a little bit to Ball, because and I agree 100% with everything you just said there, and that's super exciting about that he's in that mode. But I feel like there might be a feeling amongst some fans and supporters that LaMelo Ball coming, they know LeVar Ball, they know the show, and they think, well, this is a marketing tool, it's a bit of a circus and so on and so forth. I want to talk about LaMelo Ball as a prospect, as a player, and you touched on his skill set a little bit before. But, I mean, we're talking about a 6-7 point guy, he's had a huge growth spurt over recent times. He'll turn 18 in August, 17 right now. Ranked 21st on ESPN's 2019 Top 100 Prospects. Now, we know his older brother was an elite prospect. He hasn't quite hit in the NBA, hit his potential just yet, but I mean, he was the number 2 overall pick in the draft. This kid, LaMelo, was ranked 33 in ESPN's last mock draft for the 2020 draft. But Jonathan Gavoni made it clear in his article he wrote today that part of that was the uncertainty about where he was going to play. And now that they know he's going to be in this league, he's going to be in this type of system, and he's going to have this kind of development, he said 100% guaranteed he's going to be a projected first rounder when we drop our mock draft for the 2020 draft straight after the upcoming draft. So from there, talking to a few people, I've asked the question today, give it to me straight. Is he a potential? He says, I want to be the number 1 pick. I love it. I said, give it to me straight. Is he a potential lottery pick? Does he have that kind of, potential? They said 100%. Absolutely. He has a unique skill set. Now, obviously, his strengths, his creativity, his ball handling, his passing, his deep shooting range. What I'm interested in is how does he work on and improve his weaknesses, the question marks that are hovering over him. That's what the scouts are going to want to see as they come over and they watch this year. Will he give consistent defensive effort? Where's the shot selection? How's the shot selection going to be when he's out there on the floor? Can he put some size on? Because he's got that bit of that thin frame. And, does those shooting mechanics, can he work on those a little bit because they're a little unorthodox? That's what I'm interested in. From the basketball perspective, what kind of improvement? And the other thing I want to flag is it always happens when scouts come to watch a guy, they see someone else.
Yeah.
And we saw with Terrence Ferguson, Torrey Craig is in the NBA. He's the right guy and he's got a skill set and he's worked hard for it. But Tim Connolly, the GM of the Nuggets, came over to watch Terrence Ferguson. And he was in the stands in Adelaide when Torrey Craig guarded Jerome Randall, put 36 and 12 on the board, and he was like, let's bring this guy to Summer League straight away. They come over to see Ferguson in pre-season. They see Mitch Creek. The ball starts rolling from there with a whole bunch of teams. Guys are going to come. They're going to see Sam Froling. They're going to see Dan Greeter. They're going to see all these, and they're going to see guys on other teams as well. And guys are going to get opportunities as a result of having these kids here.
Sam Froling's going to be seen every single game because there will be an NBA scout at every single Illawarra game next year, and his new teammate is the one that probably brings them in, or he's the one that will bring them in.
But this kid's a legit prospect,
no doubt.
A legit talent
No doubt.
in his own right. He's moving away from the hoopla, away from his dad. His dad's not coming over to live with him. Jermaine Jackson's coming, and he's going to work on his game. And I'm super excited for it. Obviously, all the marketing element and the eyeballs, but from a basketball perspective, it's awesome.
I think that the best thing that could happen is that his dad stays in America. And I mean this with no disrespect, but it's just a fact. I think the fact that he would be a distraction is an understatement because people would want to, first of all, again, and I mean this with no disrespect, Australia is not built for that and like that. If you come in with too much of a loudmouth, they don't like that. You can rub people the wrong way. And the fact that his son, to be honest with you, has had 2 solid seasons in the NBA. If he was anybody else, no one would say the things that they say about him because think about it. Does his son talk? His son doesn't say anything. It's the dad doing all the talking, which people don't like. So it's negative shade thrown on his children. These kids just play ball. I mean, look at his numbers. He was hitting triple doubles. For a second year, NBA player, he's done okay. You know what I mean? So the best thing that could happen for Melo is that his dad is not here. So the circus is not here.
He'll come, right?
You know, I mean,
he'll spend time here.
Spotty, of course, but he's not going to be here night in, night out in Australia. And it's just your son. He's on your own.
Yeah. Well, and
Jermaine will be here,
and he is. People have been really impressed with him. The NBL people, Illawarra people, talking with Jermaine Jackson. He's a classy guy. He's a former NBA player.
Hey, Jermaine Jackson was a stud. University of Detroit. When they put University of Detroit on the map, him, Rashad Phillips, there was a bunch of other guys, but Rashad Phillips used to play with the Perth Wildcats in the NBL. You know, they had an era there. So this guy's a class act. Played in the minor league, played in the NBA. He's in great hands
from
coming
a personality
over here.
level and his best interest with the kid. I think it's going to work.
Hashtag NBL overtime to get involved. Hashtag NBL 20. We'll just park the Illawarra Hawks just for a split second because I reckon it was early on in the NBL overtime show where you raised Finn Delaney as a possible name to play in the NBA. And
yes, you did.
Some news over the week. So yet again, Liam Santa Maria forcing the hand of players in the league, be it Kiwi or Australia. Now they end up, and we see Finn Delaney's going to get an opportunity with the Mavs in the minicamp.
Yeah, he's at the Mavs minicamp now. They love the NBL. Obviously, Tony Ronzoni, and they're pioneers of international scouting in the NBA. And every year, pretty much over the last few, they've had some NBL guys at minicamp, and Delaney gets his opportunity. Actually, it was at the end of the 2017 Summer League over there with Tommy Greer, and he asked me the question as we were wrapping the thing up, who would you like to see here? And I said, I'd like to see Finn Diesel here. And he looked at me like, raised his eyebrows like, he's not ready. And I was like, no, I don't think he is, but he will be. And he's got the kind of game that can come over and have an impact. And it'll be a great experience for him with the Mavs, get that little NBA taste. Who knows? Maybe he can play well enough to get himself onto that Summer League roster. It's probably not minutes for him there this year. Who knows? You never know. And he's got a good opportunity to make the most of it. Just finished off an impressive season at FMP Belgrade.
And just on that too, when New Zealand played well last year, and unfortunately for Breakers fans, it wasn't overly consistent. When they played well and they won, he had really good games.
Yeah.
So now I'm not always suggesting because he had some inconsistencies as well. So that's the next part and the next evolution of his game. But when he plays well, the team plays well, and
he's 23.
That's always a good thing.
He's only
not
23.
Old. That's true. He has been, and he's got the length.
Yeah.
The length is a big thing in the NBA, and he's got that length that I think
and
will
bounce,
make people.
Strength.
What do you think? What are you shaking here? You like it?
I mean, I like it.
Yeah.
You know, just think about it. When you said you're right. When New Zealand played well, he played well. Could you imagine if an opportunity actually came up in Summer League and he goes on one of those spurts when he shows his brilliance? Anything could happen, like you said.
Well, that happened with Deng Adel at Summer League last year. Because in the first 3 or 4 games at Summer League, he was at the end of the bench and did not get on. And he said, I just need an opportunity. When I get out there, I'm going to make it rain. And he did. And he played in the NBA last season, and he's right there. So you never know.
Now, speaking, obviously, Finn Delaney, Kiwi, but speaking Australians over there, Angus Brandt's getting an opportunity as well. Championship winner last year at the Perth Wildcats, and his future, of course, has been spoken about a fair bit in the last 2 or 3 months in free agency in the off-season. But Angus Brandt trying to impress as well in the NBA. What can you tell us?
Well,
Lee?
shout out to Sig Fam. This is, I think, Sports International
there
group.
It is. And we're running out of management groups to give shout-outs.
We should have shouted out Mogul there for Finn Delaney. They've done a good job.
Shout out to Mogul Sports. I got you.
But yeah, and obviously Angus has just finished up some time with the Sacramento Kings. Went in there and worked out and obviously here the chance to go and work out at the Mavs summer minicamp as well. Yeah, he'd love to get on a Summer League roster, but part of it is also having that on your resume, those ability to have those workouts. I mean, he's in a bit of a different age bracket to a guy like Finn Delaney, but, we saw what he was able to do at times over the last season and a half. We know he's exercised his European out clause. He's not going to be back with the Wildcats this season. So he's going to, after this Dallas minicamp, he's going to, my understanding is that he's going to go and take up a short-term contract in China, the season that they have going on.
The second division NBL.
Yeah, the off-season season they have going on. Off-season season. And then, and has some good European teams sort of biting.
He should have the same theory, and he probably did at the minicamp, and if he does work his way onto a Summer League, exact same as what Mitch Creek did last year, and you spoke about it last week. Hard for the bigger guys and the guys who play offense like him to get the ball from these guards who are trying to impress. Just go out, not bash people, but be physical, just want keep it alive, 3 or 4 extra possessions. Mitch Creek did it last year and playing to the minds, and I'm assuming that Angus Brandt had a very similar way of going around minicamp, and if it is a Summer League roster, that's exactly how we should do it.
Yeah.
I think he should go around and bash people. Who would not love a guy that size on your team setting some serious screens and doing all the dirty work? We all will love him. That's the guy you hate to play against, but love that he's on your team. When he gets the ball, go to work. Do the right things when you get it, but play really physical. His frame is ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's a brick wall.
Yeah, big boy.
Big dude, man.
Yeah.
So, good luck to him.
He told me he had a chat with Mitch. Mitch obviously was at Dallas last year at the minicamp and at Summer League, and he had a chat to him saying, all right, well, tell me about the minicamp. What should I do? How do I need to approach it? So he's got a good head on his shoulders, and we wish him luck.
Just on, it was people going nuts. The Illawarra Hawks obviously tweeted it today that Barack Obama started following.
Barack Obama started following.
Hang on.
Last night,
Go
Illawarra
nuts.
had about 9,000 followers on Instagram. What are they like?
25,000.
Now, because I raised that because Angus Brandt has a connection to Barack Obama and used to work out at the White House because his college coach is Barack Obama or Michelle Obama's brother. So when they were in Washington, D.C., they'd go and hoop at the White House with Barack Obama.
Oh, my God. That is incredible.
I'd never heard of it. I interviewed him on radio about 3 years ago when he was telling us the story.
That's dope.
And we were like, that is
got the plug to the president.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
So I'm just going to link it. If it doesn't work out, he'll end up, of course, with Barack Obama going to be the #1 ticket holder of the Hawks next year. He'll be a Hawk as well. All right. Jerome Randall, officially, I think it was last Friday, we've discussed.
He got his thank you.
His thank you, which has been a bone of contention at different times, but I'll allow for Jerome Randall, the all-star and superstar that he is. But the Sydney Kings, look, interesting timing for you guys or not?
It's pretty weird. I mean, we know that he wasn't coming back once you signed Casper Ware, but why would they put it out now?
Well, I'm a conspiracy theorist at times. So
what do you reckon?
Well, I assumed that he was going to sign somewhere else in the NBL, and they got wind of it. Now, I have no idea if that's at all true. And, of course, in his year and a half he spent there, he excited the Sydney fans and fans across the league. So we all want Jerome Randall in the league somewhere, but that's what I made of it, Liam. What do you think?
That often happens, right? The team gets the heads up and they say thanks, just maybe an hour or so or a day or so before it gets announced elsewhere. That hasn't panned out. Boy, it's been so fun to watch Jerome Randall in the league. Came up and absolutely lit this place up. A year and a half in Illawarra, a year and a half in Sydney, and he is a killer.
Straight up.
MVP of the league. Wasn't quite able to raise his team to a point where they were able to get a championship. Obviously took Adelaide on that magical run where they were the regular season champs. Played
Paul Ruben Tarangi played this 6 times.
Played tough. Played through injury to try to get that Sydney team over the line in the semi-finals. You tip your hat to him. Was never quite at his best at the end of a season. Right? He takes such a toll. He gets, he goes in there and gets banged around so much, and the season sort of got the better of him a couple of times, and he wasn't able to be at his best at the end of the year. Would love to see him back in the league. I don't think it's likely to happen this season. You would think maybe the only place left is Cairns. Corey, Corey chats to Jerome, so he may be able tell us, but...
And you did tell us something big is happening in Cairns. That's a quote from you last week.
This weekend I did speak to Jerome.
Yeah.
We were on the phone talking, but we were just talking about life and all this other stuff.
They just had all asking. Nothing.
No, not life in the tropics. We just talk, about life. Period. I talk to him often.
So you never mentioned, or you never asked him?
No, but just gotta stay tuned a little bit more. Maybe.
Okay, another week.
Stay tuned a little bit more about Cairns.
Do you want to give it 2 weeks? Give yourself a little grace.
Yeah,
Okay,
give it about 2 weeks.
All right.
But I mean, the moment he touched the shores of Australia, he lit this place up. One of the best little guys to ever touch the shores and dominate the whole league. He wasn't at his best, playing through injury. Tried to soldier it out, but it just wasn't enough. But, we all wish you the best. We all love you out here. You're great for the community. You do a lot in the cities you've touched. A bunch of kids love you. He's been running camps and clinics all over Australia. Keep doing your thing.
All right. Before we do get out of here, hashtag NBL overtime to get involved. I put together what should be week 1 of the NBL in my eyes, and have a quick discussion around it and get involved, of course, give your thoughts. So this is...
Look at that photo.
That's not bad. Thank you. But it's another photo. It's all right. So I actually think we should start Thursday night in Illawarra.
Come on, it's the most screen time.
Put me on the graphic. To be honest, I wanted to be watermarked behind.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, so a bit bigger, but I'll take that. All right, so Illawarra, New Zealand to start the NBL year. I think with Hampton v Ball would be huge.
Yes,
love it.
I
And
agree.
2 teams that in the past probably haven't been a huge selling point for TV audience the last couple of years. So standalone. Friday night, Sydney and South East Melbourne Phoenix in Sydney.
Hold on, you've got Casper Ware versus his old teams in there somewhere, don't you?
I've got it on the Sunday. Let me explain this first. So Sydney v South East Melbourne Phoenix in Sydney Friday, okay?
You don't have it on
You
the
don't
Sunday,
have it up there,
but that's
bro.
okay.
But go ahead, carry on.
Oh, no, I don't, because I've got South East Melbourne and Melbourne.
Right.
Okay, so then we've got a grand final rematch in Perth. So open the banner, show the banner against the team you beat the year before. Standalone Saturday, Adelaide and Brisbane. Sobey's gone. Let's get him back to Adelaide and let the crowd really get him
I like that.
Right.
Now, triple header Sunday. Sydney and Illawarra.
Got you.
There you go. South East Melbourne's have their first home game on a Sunday arvo against Melbourne United.
Ooh, that'd be
and
nice.
then Perth and New Zealand on that late game on a Sunday. Now, the Casper thing, I think that should be...
Did you sleep on that?
No, Melbourne Cup Eve, which is what they're trying to introduce.
Okay.
Right, and they're trying to make that a marquee game. Get them back on Melbourne Cup Eve, and Casper goes in. And that's already it was sold out last year. You couldn't get a ticket thanks to Andrew Bogut. So more of the same this year. And that's only a month or so into the season anyway. So you got to try and litter some of these rivalry games.
You trying to get a
around.
job? Or what do you...
Well, as you know, I don't need a job because I already raised the wildcard game on this particular show.
Yes.
And I'm pretty sure that'll be introduced.
Yep,
I
like
also,
that.
this time last year, raised why Brian Bowen is not eligible for Rookie of the Year, and then that technicality got changed.
Good man.
So there's been a couple of little things. So, yeah, so that's essentially how... I think Hampton and Ball opening up.
Yes.
And then let the weekend flow through and allow South East Melbourne Phoenix to have the home game Sunday afternoon against United and pack that joint out and away we go.
No arguments here.
Hard. Really hard to
Look,
believe.
here's the only thing that I want to say right here. Whoever's doing the schedule, make sure
Yeah, thank you.
I am doing those New Zealand games and those Illawarra games, or else we got some problems.
Do you travel? You don't travel to New Zealand or Illawarra?
We need to
you do
change
now.
that, fam. I need to see that action straight up.
Cool. Whose jersey are you going to wear first, Hampton or Balls?
No. I'm not wearing
No?
their jerseys. They have to earn their stripes. This is
You
not a
gotta earn their
cupcake league.
Okay, there you go.
Gotta earn their stripes.
They gotta earn their stripes. I'm telling you, it's literally like little brother playing with the big brothers, with the big boys now. We don't care what you did in high school. We don't rate none of that. I have to pay my mortgage. You're gonna feel all of that. That's how it's gonna go. And it's gonna be great for them. And that's how it's supposed to go. They're supposed to come down here and get beat up. Look at all the guys that played before them and that was in this program. Terrence Ferguson. What did he do while he was here? He showed flashes of brilliance and he got better towards the end, that's what you're supposed to do. Bowen, same thing. Came in, showed some potential, showed flashes, but at the end, he was a better product than he came in, leaving out. And that's what we want from these kids. And that's why this is what the program is about. So good luck to you all. Get in the weight room. It is not a game. It is not a game. I'm telling you, this is not a cupcake league. I look emotional because I am. I talk loud because that's what I do. But I'm telling you, Get focused because it's gonna get real as soon as you touch the town.
You got a vein popping out. I've never seen it.
Yo, it's real. It's real because a lot of people might think it's all fun and games. It's not a cupcake league. Straight up.
Last word, Liam. Got anything?
I like that what you were saying. You were talking about Brian Bowen there. I think Brian Bowen and his situation with the Kings is a bit of a blueprint for this LaMelo Ball situation because there was no guarantees for him that he was going to play minutes. Sydney didn't know what they had. They said, oh, well, let's bring him in. What have we got to lose? He might be able to play his way into the rotation. And in pre-season, that's exactly what he did. Never started, didn't start, but throughout the year played an important role for a playoff team. Well, Bowen, with the youth in that situation, he could get to a point where he's, Ball, he could get to a point where he's starting. It's going to be fascinating to watch. But like you say, he's going to need to bring it. He's going to need to come and work super hard, stay focused, and buy in, and go from there.
Just a big shout out to everyone who hit us up on Twitter this morning at NBL and mentioning us as well, saying we need an emergency NBL overtime. We didn't need an emergency. It's every Tuesday. This is just a regular NBL overtime. So for those people who must be missing this show on a very, very, very regular basis, make sure you don't. Every Tuesday, NBL overtime. Hashtag NBL overtime. Hashtag NBL20 to get involved. It's getting bigger and better each and every week. Until next week, see you, crew.
Peace.